Hello all, and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. Many apologies for my last couple of videos where I've had some serious issues with some audio recording. It appears that for some reason, one of my many tabs that I had open, I'd left a single YouTube running. And when recording the video game itself, it picks up all the noise the computer's making. So I've made an absolute hash of the last couple of videos. But now, we are here in the first day of the autumn or fall season, and it is beautiful. Genuinely, the autumn season is one of my favorites of the year. I like the fact that it's still warm enough that I can just wander around outside and not really worry too much. I can still just wear a t-shirt. I don't have to wear lots of layers, but it's not scorching. Now, I unfortunately have this terrible problem in that I run very warm, so I very much dislike the heat. However, we are here on the beautiful farm and we have a lot of wheat to harvest. Now, I was debating what crops do I actually plant. Now, of course, the ever useful pumpkin is going to be my first port of call, I think, because of course it is. And we might get a giant pumpkin, who knows. But we've got all of this fibre to scythe down as well, which again I'm looking for as a useful resource more than anything. Not as a stupendously continuous thing. Oh, no, that sounds very stupid, doesn't it? It's just trying to figure out what would be a good idea for me to grow. Now, I'm going to be continuously growing a lot of fibre during the winter season, which I think is quite sensible and quite reasonable. The other thing that I'm going to be growing during the winter, of course, will be the powder melons and the winter berries. But for now, we're still in the autumn, so we should probably focus on that. Now, pumpkins are my primary focus because of the value of them at the moment, but I am debating whether I plant anything else. Now, I do want to have a bunch of more of broccoli on the grow, because, of course, broccoli is a particularly useful resource because it is a continuous harvester. And that's something I'm very interested in, because the ability to have constant harvesting crops is absolutely fantastic because, hey, you plant them once and off you go. Especially considering the videos that I'm currently working on at the moment, where I'm doing a deep dive set of shorts. I say deep dive set of shorts. That's a very strange conceptual mishmash, but it's actually going to be a blend of what each of the crops and what you can do with them and what they actually do for you. So, you know, kind of useful stuff, I think. So that's the first focus that I've currently got with those sorts of things. So yeah, broccoli is going to be one that I'm going to grow a lot of, because of course I will, because broccoli is very useful. Other things that I'm also debating are some of the other, like, more consumable things, like the bok choy, not bok choy, pak choy. Is it pak choy? Or is it bok choy? I always get it muddled because of Stupid Plants vs. Zombies. It's the one game that I absolutely adored it when I was younger. I mean, I feel kind of shockingly enough. But I keep fuddling which way round the words go and what actually it is. And yeah, I know it's a little embarrassing, but that's just how my brain kind of works, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, I'm a bit stuffed in that regard. Oh well, that's what I have to do. Anyway, silliness aside, we've got all these pumpkins to be slapped down, and we should probably have a look and see if there's anything else that we kind of need at the moment within the city. I say the city, sorry, I mean in the village area, because of course we're going to have loads of things that we need to sort out. And yeah, there's lots of opportunity, which is great. So let us keep on going. Now, one of the other things that I'm also considering as well is, as we can see, I've got that glorious fern type thing that's going on there, and I really like it. It's fantastic. I'm very excited about the fact that I have it, but it is going to be a bit of a quandary in what else do I use it for? Which, again, might sound very silly, but I know it'll generate fiddlehead ferns. Do I want to have multiple of them? I'm assuming I want to have more than one, because that would be nice. I mean, one would assume that would be a standard sort of consideration there, having multiple of a plant that can give you some form of resource or something. So that's what I'm currently looking at the moment. So yeah, we're going to be plotting our way through here. Now, of course, one of the other things we've got going on as well at the moment is the resources from our pickling and our other just general crop nonsense that we've sort of got going on, which again, we've got lots of stuff kind of to work through at the moment, and I think that's kind of be it, isn't it? We've no other way about it. We've got to work our way through what we've got going on here on the farm. We've got all these barrels to use, and again, I'm painfully aware that I don't really need the money, but I'm still kind of working on the premise of I still kind of need money, I guess, a little bit. That would be nice. So yeah, that's a thing in my brain at the moment. One of the other things that I'm also considering is what else could I do on the farm. Now, I've got the slime hutch, and I'm still debating whether it's actually worth me keeping. I know that sounds really maybe a bit over the top, but it's not a superbly useful building to me. And I know that might sound harsh to kind of say, but for me, it's not really done me many big favors. If it had done more for me, then maybe I'd be more inclined to keep it. But right now, it doesn't really feel like it's doing much for me, which, yeah, I know it kind of feels a bit odd to say, really, but it isn't giving me much in the way of general resources that actually I could use. And I'm considering, would it be a better use of space if I ditch it? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So that is a consideration at this point in time. So maybe we'll do something with it. Who knows? Who knows right now? So we got some ideas. I think that's really all I can say on that one. But silliness aside, we've got all of these raisins that I want to give to the Junimo, because the Junimo, of course, are fantastic, and we do enjoy our little friends. I nearly said our little indentured workers. They are definitely not that. They are free to leave should they choose. I am not a terrible person who has Junimo slaves. That would be a bad thing. Now, the other thing I'm also stashing is because I want to get 5 of the sets of glasses, because I've been quite pleasantly surprised about the fact that it doesn't cost much to get one of those jungle tanks, because they're great, actually, by the looks of things. And yeah, I want one. Well, I've got one. I want more. It's just, what else could I do with it? Because I'm sure there's got to be some vaguely clever thing that I can do with them and, make something a bit more exciting. And yeah, that's just kind of how my brain's working at the moment, of is there anything else that I can do with the farm? Because really right now we're in our 4th year on the farm, which is all well and good, because yeah, we've got plenty of crops growing, we've got lots of stuff. We're reasonably well situated, I feel. But it's is there anything else that we need or can we use to end up with a better end result on the farm? I'm not sure. But hey ho. Now, the joys of the new season is that it brings new events. And I've not seen any of the new events as yet. And I think that's kind of understandable. But I am curious to see what new events are going to actually occur during this particular season, because there's lots of potential and opportunity at the moment for odd events. I mean, who knows? There could be some phenomenally interesting and different event. I don't know. And the thing is, I know I've shipped out most, if not all, of the goods now. But the thing I'm also considering is the books. And I don't think I've even bought all the books. one of the things I am aware that I've done is I've purchased the book from Marnie. Now, my understanding is that one reads it and then one gains access to the catalogue. Whether that's the case, that's a different question. I may have to investigate that and check that out a little bit further myself when I've got the opportunity. But right now, we've got a couple of other things that we need to kind of work on. And yeah, that's kind of it, really. Not much else I can say on that sort of front, but we've got some ideas. And at the moment, I'm just going to quickly try and fish up some of the fish that we need, which are the anchovies. Okay, we've got some seaweed. We don't need that. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe we might need it because we could use it to make some mackie rolls. Come on, fishy, fishy. It's one of the interesting things that, like, I know that some people do find the fishing minigame a little bit challenging. And I do think that playing the game with a controller makes a really big difference to the fishing minigame. But that's just because that's how I personally prefer to play the game. But I don't find it super difficult to catch fish with the challenge bait. Me saying that, and I've just completely ruined the opportunity to catch that fish. My goodness. But generally speaking, the challenge bait doesn't feel that much of a difficulty for me. But, again, I am aware that I've been catching quite a lot of reasonably basic fish. There are a lot more complicated, well, not complex, but complicated, but, you know, there are harder fish to catch, and that's kind of a given. And I've not super struggled. So I am aware of that fact being a thing. So, okay, so we've got the Robin's Resource Rush. So we still got we've got a lot of wood to get. So I guess we're heading over to the quarry is probably our best shout, considering the quarry is quite heavily littered with trees. Thanks to my general nonsense there. I still need to figure out something good to do with it. So if you've got any ideas that maybe turning it into an outdoor museum or something interesting, because at the moment I am finding it quite dull. I think is probably the nicest way of putting it. It is kind of meh. There's just not much to do with it. Okay, so we got another prize ticket. That's the reason I was very excited to do that one, because as was quite rightly pointed out, I need to do the quests to get the prize tickets. So I need to do them, and every 3 one gets a prize ticket. So that's going to be a bit of, well, a bit of work is probably the nicest way of putting it. So we are going to do that. I'm going to cut down this tree. Let's see what else we get. Anything else? Well, who knows? We're cutting down all the trees. It's going to be how it goes. I do have a lot of wood, though. Perhaps I could use the wood in my charcoal burners because, well, I have so much. I don't need it. I mean, at no point am I going to need tens of thousands of wood, which I think I've got. I think I've got more than 10,000 wood. And I'm going to be getting another 1,000 just doing this. I mean, look at it. I'm nearly at 300 already. I mean, if I clear out all the trees here, yeah, I mean, that's 24 wood per tree, rough. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that's an exact science for it, but 66. So, yeah, we're getting between like 24 and 30 wood, 32 wood for every tree we cut down. So we gain 127 wood from those 3 trees. That's pretty good returns. So it's not going to exactly take me long to finish this. So the resource rushes generally don't. They're a good easy one. So it's an easy ticket. But it is kind of trying to figure out what other things that one can do. Honestly, trying to get more stuff. But hey ho. Right, so let's cut down this tree. That's fine. We've got another tree. So I do like the moss effects, though, because they do look quite nice. Definitely reminds me of wandering through the forests nearer to me. Now, I grew up near the New Forest in England, which is mostly pine trees. But there are, like large areas of it, but there are a lot of other bigger, more ancient style, like oaks and such. I mean, one considers the oak tree to be more of an old tree. Even if it's a younger tree physically than a pine tree, it's still very much it feels like an older tree. I think it's just because it's a deciduous versus a Evergreen. You know when you have a brain fart in the middle of saying something and you totally forget, is that the right word? I think it is. I don't want to be talking complete nonsense out of my backside, but that is a regular occurrence for me, so who knows? But yeah, that's a thing. Okay. Well, let's see what else we can try and work through on this one. Well, it's 1:10. We should probably start getting ready to head to sleep now. I'm going to give it to past and then walk back to the farm. But goodness, we must have chopped most of the way through all the wood. Look at that. Oh, I'm risking it now. Okay, we're getting a little bit... Okay, it's just a bit too close to 2 o'clock. I can't risk it any further. Into bed we go. My good life. I'm not taking my trousers off. I'm not emptying my pockets. You know, get into bed with 1,000 bits of wood. I mean, I guess that's theoretically possible if you just went to bed with a bag of sawdust, but... I mean, going on a bits of wood not being particularly large sort of front. Okay, so we've got 1 ticket so far. So I'm going to neck myself a triple shot espresso, which, to be fair, is how I'd love to spend my mornings, drinking a nice caffeinated coffee. But unfortunately, because I have this terrible habit of I will wake up and get out of bed with maybe 20 minutes before I need to leave the house to go to work. So for me, I live very close to my workplace. I'm very spoiled in that regard. Because of that, it has meant that I am painfully aware of this fact. So I know I'm not being very good in this regard. I'm painfully aware that I can get up at 8:30 to then get out of bed, put my clothes on, and walk to work, leaving my house at 10 to 9. And the thing is, I go, yeah, 20 minutes, I'll be fine. Because I actually eat at my office. I don't know about everyone else on this sort of side, but because I've just bought snack food type things like breakfast bars and such, I just keep them in my desk drawer because I just try to be I don't want to say lazy, but I know full well that my ADD addled brain does mean that I do very scatterbrained things, such as getting up silly o'clock and then doom scrolling for silly amount of time. I've sat down trying to go like, yeah, it's like 11 o'clock, we'll be sensible, we'll go to bed early. And then doom scrolling for 2 hours and going, oh my goodness, it's 1 a.m. Why is it 1 a.m.? Why did that happen? And feeling like a complete wally. But that's just how it goes. Now, of course, as you can see, we've got lots of wheat growing. We've got lots of mixture of corn. We've got some sunflowers. We've got a nice mixture of crops, and I'm quite pleased with that. Now, when the harvest comes for this area of wheat, I am going to side that down. I'm going to replace that with some pumpkins. Once that's sorted out, the other area lower down, I might put some of the mixed seasonal berries, like some of the mixed seeds, all sorts, who knows. See what we get, because that's, I think, a good use of time and effort. Maybe. I mean, I guess that's a way of describing it, but I think that's a good way of using my my space. Now, at the moment, I haven't got very many truffles, so I'm not making much truffle oil, but I am doubling up on the oil production, which is great. Again, not like a super major thing, but I know I'm going to need oil for a number of the recipes, and that's, kind of nice. And one of the things that I am looking at as well is because I am lucky that I'm aware that I'm quite lucky in that I have bought the Stardew Valley cookbook, and I mentioned it a number of videos ago. I think we're like in the early hundreds of videos ago, that is. So I would like to do some cooking of the Stardew Valley recipes, and I think that'd be really like something pleasant to do. So I'm going to give that a go, and it'd be nice to sort of theme doing a bunch of them and cooking them in game as well as in real life, and see how well that goes. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be a reckless abomination, and we'll see though. Because I know I'm an idiot, and I will do odd stuff. So it's how this goes. Such as not realizing that my computer was picking up audio from something else. Now, it is about 10 a.m. on Tuesday the 2nd. So I think I would like a quick visit over to Ginger Island today, just to quickly harvest what crops are ready to pick up and kind of go from there, because who knows, it might have a few things that'd be good to grab. And we've got lots of resources that need to be used. Can I pickle hazelnuts? Apparently I can. Okay. I didn't know I could pickle hazelnut. That's a very strange concept. Pickling a nut. I can't think of any traditionally pickled nut dishes. I'd be curious to try them if there are some, because I very much like nuts. And I like pickles, so I don't know. I'm genuinely going to have to sort of have a think about that. Anyway, silliness aside on that one, just trying to think if there's anything else that we could sort of pickle. I mean, okay, I'm going to make some ancient fruit wine here. I've got cauliflower juice. Again, that's an interesting choice of fruit juice or vegetable juice. Very interesting. Okay, and we've got lots of ancient fruit jam. So again, we're going to make a bit of money again today. Not really the end of the world, because, yeah, we're going to make a bunch anyway. That's just how this goes, isn't it? But we'll see what we can do going forward. But one of the things I am also considering is, what other things could you pickle or do? So, I mean, I have done what is it, a good mixture of things, to be fair. In all honesty, I've made quite a lot of odd pickled goodies over the time of playing through, and some of them are definitely a bit more odd than others. I would personally consider. I mean, one of the things though that does annoy me is I don't think you can do pickled eggs. Now that one is might be a very, very British thing there. I don't know about other cuisines pickling eggs. But we have it quite commonly, and they're a bit more of an older person thing. It might sound bizarre, but you usually see them in fish and chip shops. So typically, I mean, this is at least when I grew up as a kid, the fish and chip shop that I actually worked in for a bit had 3 very large pickling jars on the counter, and they homemade pickled onions, pickled eggs, and pickled gherkins. Pickled eggs was a very, very traditional chip shop food in my mind. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what makes sense to my brain, at least, because that's, yeah, I do genuinely think it's a very chip shop thing. And that's not saying that's a bad thing in any way, shape, or form, but it's very much of a chip shop thing. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling about pickled eggs, but that would be something I'd like to see in the game, if it's already in there and I've just been oblivious. I don't know. We'll test it and find out, I think, at some point. Anyway, daftness aside, because there's going to be lots of that, to be fair. Let's have a look and see. So we've got 1 ticket. I think we're going to be able to go and grab another ticket from the billboard. So that should give us 2 pushes on the dispenser of prizes. So that's good. I think I need to go and visit Clint tomorrow. I could even visit him today, maybe. Because I do need to crack open those treasure chests and those golden coconuts. Not treasure chest, the golden package present thing. The Mr. Key gift. Whatever it actually is. I mean, heck, it could be anything. And there's I also need to have a look at the calendar properly, because I kind of want to know what other events are coming up. Now, of course, I've deposited what hay I can into my silo, and of course, as pointed out, they are not very good for their space. I mean, I like the look of them. I'll give them that. That's all I can really say. I like the way they look, but There we go. So let's bung a bunch of hay in there. But honestly, the fact that you could put, for the same size of them, a number of chests which holds infinitely more, it is kind of disappointing. I am aware that's just the way the game mechanics work, but it should be more. I'm not sure or whether you shouldn't be able to store it in chests. Okay, the raccoons have got no other quests for me. Maybe they'll give me another one later on. So we must be very nearly done with the lumber. Come on, cut down this tree. Maybe one more. Is that enough? No, still need more. Oh, no, it is enough. Aha! This is what I get for not paying attention. Well, we've got it, and that's the big thing. We've got lots and lots and lots of glorious, glorious amounts of stuff. And I like that. Because we need it. We always will need lots and lots and lots of wood, I guess, for making something completely pointless. Which, to be fair, at this point in time, is going to be burning it to make charcoal, because I've got no other need for it right now. So, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we've got ourselves a fish smoker. Oh, there's a book there. So there's another book in the list. So we need at least 2 more of these prize tickets. So that means I've got to do at least 6 more of the regular quests for people that they request from the notice board rather than the billboard, because I think like the notice board pinboard type thing is one sort of thing. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, so looks like we have all of this to harvest. Okay, so I'm going to be here a while, aren't I? Not the end of the world, but you know, we've got a lot to do now. Yeah, so that's not like it's annoying, but we've got lots of work to go ahead now. And we need so many resources to be used. Because right now, we've got all of these pineapples, we've got all of the star fruit to harvest. Now, I know I've got some more broccoli seeds, so I'm going to plant a bunch more of those to replace some of the star fruit, because that was my initial plan, is to have a small area, well, I say small area, but maybe one of these, an entire area of the 7x7 grids that's available that is entirely seasonal regrowing vegetables. So stuff that's like continuous harvests, because, well, it kind of makes sense to me to have. To be able to use a lot of continuous harvesting is, I mean, I feel like a very sensible and good idea. Oh my goodness. My inventory is very full right now, so it looks like we're going to have to go and deposit some stuff. Well, I'm going to sell that baguette, because I don't really need a loaf of baguette. A loaf of baguette. A loaf of bread. I can do words good, yes. So yeah, that's fine. We don't care too much about that one. But what else can we do? Well, I'm going to plant these broccoli down, and I mean, that's going to take up a bunch of space. I think a few more summer squash would be nice. Again, though, they're not that valuable. I think the big thing that I'm disappointed by when it comes to the summer squash is how not completely insignificant they are, but they aren't very, very valuable, which is a shame. I understand, but it is a shame. But we're going to slap down a bunch of star fruit because we've got loads of it and we need to grow a bunch, because of course we do, because it's star fruit. Why do we never not want to grow star fruit? It's a high value product and we're going to have lots of it. Thank you kindly. Okay, so let's keep slapping this down. Oh, got another eggplant or aubergine. And here's the silly thing. I genuinely never realized why it was called an eggplant in America. And then I saw one growing on its vine, not vine, sorry, from the plant itself, where it looks like a flipping egg. Yeah, did not realize that was a thing. And that kind of embarrassed me a little bit, because I was like, oh my, I am a fool. Fool of a took, specifically, I feel. But yeah, that's a thing. Very annoying, though, realising how much of a silly old sausage I was. Not realising that that was a thing. Goodness gracious, I didn't realise how much time it actually takes to harvest all of this darn starfruit. I've got loads of it, though, so not a terrible thing. But there we go. So that's now saturated. And I do want to put that away. I want to sell the iridium quality things because, again, I'm not going to need them other than just selling them. And I don't need the pine cones. I've got loads of those anyway. That's fine. I'm not super worried about those. What else can we grab? I mean, there's got to be something else I can grab, isn't there? I mean, one would assume, at least. Oh, well. That's what we're doing, at least. So, let's have a quick think. Now, we've got loads of resources ready to distribute. Oh, and the starfruit wine's ready. So, okay, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a money spinning point right now, then. So that's fine. We're just going to deposit all of what we've got around and about. That's fine. But then we're going to start really slapping stuff down and kind of going from there. So this will help work through some of the inventory. Now, I probably should be a little bit more mercenary, maybe, with my time at the moment, because there's lots of opportunity to do lots of fun stuff in the game, and there is a lot of new content that I've not yet experienced, and I do kind of need to get that on the go, don't I? So I think I should probably really start doing that. So yeah, I think that's probably the best plan, at least, is to, you know, get a bit more going, because I could kind of move away from just growing lots of crops, which is fine and all, but I would like to see what the other events are. But at the same time, I want to make sure I've kind of got everything. So maybe I'll spend the next few days not focusing as much on the farm itself, but more the things I can do on it, and what else I can kind of do in the town for now. Now, of course, one of the things I'm very pleased to one of the things I would definitely recommend is when you do get to Ginger Island, plant some grape starters. For the love of God, plant a bunch of grape starters, because being able to harvest grapes repeatedly and turn them into raisins. Now, I don't know how long they last, so I've put them in yesterday on the first of the season, because that'll give me a good guideline on how long it takes for the Junimo to consume their way through them. And once that's done, then, you know, I'll have a better idea of, you know, that sort of investment and space and blah blah blah. So that's kind of why I've done what I've done there, so I can figure out. Now I'm going to slap a bunch of ancient fruit in, some more ancient fruit wine. Now, of course, we've got loads of ancient fruit left, and we've also got a bunch of pineapples. So, of course, pineapple wine's another thing. And I say it every time I harvest them, but I would very much love to try pineapple wine if it's a thing, because it just sounds fantastic to me. Just the idea of it, like, pineapple is a great flavour, and I very much enjoy pineapple-infused rums and things, so I really like a pineapple wine. It sounds great. A friend of mine who makes the mead, he did say about trying to use pineapple to add flavour and make a fruited mead. But the trouble is, pineapple's so acidic, it just destroys the yeast, absolutely annihilates it. So there's very little point in trying, as he's sort of kind of sadly has suggested. There's not much he can do, which is a shame, to be fair, because yeah, it's delicious flavour. But oh well. Right. It's almost time for bed, which is fine and all. So what I should do is get myself ready to roll back over to the house. So thank you very much for tuning in. A big shout out, thank you goes to my patrons on Patreon. And if you have enjoyed, please do like, share and subscribe, because it is always helpful to see. And if you have any ideas of things you'd like me to make or do, or if you think of like a fun short idea that you'd like me to try and do, because YouTube Shorts is something I'm sort of dabbling with a little bit. I'm not sure yet, but it does seem to be a good fun little thing to try. So yeah, if you've got any ideas, please do let me know, because I'm more than happy to experiment and give it a try. And one of the things that I'm planning later on, of course, this year is, of course, we're doing the twice a month streams on Twitch. And I'll be doing a little bit more Patreon content later on, because at the moment there is just the naming rights tier, which we've got at the moment. But one of the things that I have considered is actually doing special event type things where I'll play games with people on a Discord, or even like doing a joint big Stardew thing, or even doing some special, I'll record something for you as a silly voice clip thing. But for now, I will bid you all a fond farewell and adieu, and hopefully I will catch you all again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.